But Drew was in Philly, what, week and a half ago for the big game, man? I'll just toss it over to
Yep.
you, man. Tell us what was going, what were the sights, the sounds, the feelings, what was going on out there?
It was a madhouse. It was R-rated for sure. We got up around 8:30 in anticipation of the traffic, right? And we're making our way down to the stadium, get some food or whatever. It's around 10 o'clock by the time we're finally out of the city and on the 95 going south to get to Philly. And we're already in bumper to bumper traffic, and the game's not for 5 hours. And there's people sticking their heads out of cars, waving towels and stuff. And, that's when I knew, like, I've been to plenty of Eagles games at the Link in my life, and that was just a different animal. You know, the fans were unhinged, and as soon as we got into the parking lot, say an hour and a half later, and half an hour of that trying to being screamed at by fellow Eagles fans that we can't take their parking spot because they have tents and chairs and grills set up in empty parking spaces. But we just paid our $45 to come into the L lot or whatever it was, and we're circling the lot to try to find a spot. And there's people flipping us off, telling us to go F ourselves, and just like, hey man, we're just trying to find a spot here. And finally, these guys who had a camper with no intention of going into the game, they just wanted to be there, um, moved their stuff, asked us how many cars we had, and finally let us into the spot. And they were cool and all that. But for the next hour and a half, my little brother, who'd been to, a few less Eagles games than I had, was just like, this is different. The fans were really, really, I just have no other word than R-rated. It's just like Eagles chants left and right, boos for every 49ers fan within earshot or eyeshot. You couldn't be a 49ers fan and didn't have an Eagles fan escort with you to not get either cussed out or, finger throwing, up the bird to them. And that was just the tailgate. And this is at 11 o'clock in the morning, right? This is way, way, way before the game. And everybody starts getting liquored up, and the hours go by, and everybody's finally ready to go into the game. And that's something like I've never heard before in my life. It was Eagles chants, like, to the point where it was ringing your ears. And people that you don't know become your best friends, and it just feels like a big family if you're wearing the right colors. Um, when we finally made it into the game, same sort of party, but there's everybody was a little bit on edge. Electric, obviously, using that nerve to get loud and support the team and whatnot. But when Hassan knocked that ball loose and took Brock Purdy out of the game, it was that my ears were ringing for 10 minutes after that play. It was like the loud, you could feel in your chest, you could feel how loud it was. And at that point, when we got the ball back, we were up 7-0. It just felt like it was a wrap at that point. It just, there's no way that they're going to be able to go for. Even if Brock Purdy did come back in, it was sort of like, there's there's just no way, because if you're a 23-year-old kid that can step into this place in this environment and spit out a win, I props to you. But that's, if you ask me, and I'm of course biased, there's no place in the world. That's one of the hardest places to win in all of sports, whether it be football, basketball, doesn't matter. The Lincoln Financial Field is the place to be if you're the home team, obviously, and you play for the home team. And I say it every time we go to the playoffs. Those fans give the team an extra drive. It's like, I know the Cardinals fans have a lot of transplant folks that live in the valley. Me being one of them. My whole family was born and raised in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia area, and I just so happened to be, me and my brother were the unlucky ones who didn't get to be born and raised in the environment, but we're, handed it down. But it gives us an extra edge. And I went to the 2008 NFC Championship, and from what I can remember, it wasn't like that. you know Phillies fans have a little bit of extra gear and they're really unhinged, and a lot of them have drinking problems, obviously. If you were there, you'd know what I mean. And so overall, it was a great time. It was something me, my dad, and my brother will never forget. Those, you know, got to be top 5 days of my life, just front to back. I woke up the next morning, my throat was sore. It was bliss. It was bliss.
I can't even imagine. I mean, like Mike said, we got to go to that finals game, but that's different because it's a series and it was early in the series versus more or less a winner take all. You know, you either win or go home, and you're facing an off season. So the adrenaline and like that, like you said, you're making friends in line, that shared camaraderie of it all. I want to hopefully I can experience that someday with the Cardinals. I mean, I am wearing the Steelers jersey here tonight. I was born and raised here, like Mike said, but my whole family raised me to be a Steelers fan pretty much. They're all back from Pittsburgh, my whole mom's side of the family. So I can certainly relate in that regard. I did. Let me pull it up here. I've been pulling up these pictures, and thanks for sharing these shots with us. Some of these pictures that you took while you were out there. Oh, that's the video. I was going so smooth with it. No, but this picture right here, I think I'm pulling up the right one. It looks like this is the moment where people are rushing the field. Everyone won. And it's a little more blurry than all the rest of the pictures. Was this just because everyone, like, it was so loud, or you were so hype, or what's the story behind it?
It was a little bit of both. I mean, I'm getting my camera in there as soon as I saw the fireworks start going off. And that was moment, had to be 10, 12 seconds after the clock hit 0. And we had already won that game by halftime. So everybody knew we were going to the Super Bowl at that point, but that's when the party really started. I mean, that was like, I can't even explain how excited I was. I'm sure my hands were shaking a little bit. I'm screaming, "Go Birds," and everybody behind me, I'm getting grabbed on the back and people are shaking me and telling me, we're going to the Super Bowl. And, that blurriness kind of has a little bit more meaning to it. If you, like you said, if you look at it a little bit closer, it's not just because not because I'm a bad photographer. It's more so it speaks volumes to the moment, I think. I wish I would have taken some better pictures. A lot of those were blurry. We had a great time, and that was the best moment I've ever experienced as an Eagles fan. Not even better than the Super Bowl that we won. When here, obviously I didn't go to it, but that moment right there was, I might frame that now that you mention it. It does carry a lot of weight more now, so that I see it. It's just, I don't know. It was a great time, and I'm glad I had a chance to share these with you, and I'm sorry I don't have any better ones, clearer at least. But yeah, that was a cool moment.
Oh, it's perfect. I think this perfectly captures the essence of it. And I almost wondered if it was my computer at first, because all the other ones were like high quality iPhone pictures, and then this one I was like, I see what's going on here.
We're celebrating, baby.